I made tea, then I put milk in it, and the milk looked a little bit weird when I put it in. So if I abruptly end stream, it's because I have to shit. I'm sorry. I think it's fine though.
Thanks for the poop scoop. We wouldn't have known otherwise. Sup.
Oh. Why do you have to say it like that?
Ha 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 ha.
I'm gonna need to, on my next model, I'm gonna need to add a toggle so that I can put Manny like in my closed fist and like shake him around.
You could have a custom animation.
No, I need the hand trackers. I need the satisfaction. I've said this before. I don't care about your immersion. It's about my immersion. Who wants to talk about books?
Oh, is books today?
So I finished reading Pheonix Extravagant, which I liked it a lot. I feel like a lot of the books that I like aren't ones that I would recommend to like other people necessarily though. I'm starting to realize that I really like slow fantasy. No, what happened was I wasn't gonna finish this one. I was like halfway through it and then my loan ran out and there was a huge wait list for it. And so I was waitlisted for it and then I just got it back at the time when my readathon started, which happened with like a lot of my books. A lot of these ones I did not plan on reading for the readathon, but they became available and I was like, I guess I have to read them now or else I'll have to wait like another like month or two if I want to read them. Which I just tonight started reading oh, what's it called? The second Darker Shade of Magic book, the one with the Delilah Bard, where she's like stabbing people and she only has one eye, you know, with the hot girl.
Do you physically go to the library, like the 1950s, or is it like a thing where they Uber Eats them to you?
Actually, that does exist. Except it's not expensive like Uber Eats. But like, for example, if you have a disability, where you can't go to the library, they do have a system where they can deliver books to you. I don't do that. I do go to the library, but I also get books digitally from the library, which does not require going to the library, which is actually really nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So, because I have a Kindle now too. I haven't used it at all since I got it, but I could.
Cause physical meets space is icky.
I actually really like City's library, but it's like I can understand why like you wouldn't want to go. Or like sometimes like library books are kind of crusty, like the physical copies of them are kind of yucky. I get that. It doesn't bother me, and I like going to my library, but not all of them are nice. Before I moved here, the one that's closest to me was kind of shitty, in a not very inspiring building, like a little like. It was like being in like a strip mall, you know, like no windows, little block building. It was tiny. But the one that I go to now is next to like a park and it has like a big fountain. And like this time of year, they have like the farmer's market is outside of the library too. But I like going. But I'm also lazy and I like being able to rent stuff digitally. Especially audiobooks. It's really convenient, which is how I was getting all these ones. Okay. Pheonix Extravagant. It is a fantasy sci-fi that takes place in like a world that is based off of Korea being occupied by Japan. So like the countries have like fantasy names, you know, but it references history, if that makes sense. I feel like I need to do like more research because I genuinely I don't know that much like history stuff. I was just vaguely aware of it, and like me being like a little dummy, I was like reading it and I was like, huh, I think they might be Korean. And then I'm like, what does that mean the other country is then? Because they're being occupied by another country, like it's very it's Japan, isn't it? Yeah, it's Japan. And then I googled it and yeah, that's actually what it's about. But the fictional countries are Hwaguk, which is like Korea, and Razane. The sci-fi element comes in that there are like automata in this universe too. So there's like robot soldiers. Our main character is named Jebi, and they're non-binary. I didn't know that before. I picked up this book randomly because it was available and I just needed something to listen to. And the cover looked interesting. It has like a big like mecha dragon on it and I was like, that looks cool. But it actually has like quite a bit of LGBT representation in it, which is pretty pog. But Jebi is an artist and they are from Hwaguk, which is renamed Territory 14 because they're being occupied by Razan. But they're an artist and they have a bunch of debt. So they have to get a job. And they're living with their sister. Like, them and their sister are kind of like orphaned. Sister was married to someone who was like a rebel who like died in the war, basically. So there's kind of a lot of not liking the current political situation that is happening for valid reasons. But Jebi decides that they're gonna get a cushy artist government job and that they're going to be a portrait artist. They're gonna change their name so that they can have like a Razane name, and then they're gonna get a job.
Those exist? How do I get one?
Right? But they were looking to become like a portrait artist, or like the government was hiring artists, right? And they're like banking on this because they don't want their sister to find out that they have debt and all this stuff. And they have to take this like exam. They're getting a government job that allows them to be an artist that's going to pay very well, but they don't want their sister to know because their sister doesn't like the government. And also they're going to be in big trouble if their sister knows that they have like a bunch of debt, right? Because they're kind of like dependent on her because they're the younger sibling artist. But they flunk their exam and they're like, shit, dude, that's fucked. I'm fucked. And then their sister finds out that they even took the exam in the first place, and so they get kicked out and they're like, shit, dude, like shit, what am I gonna do? And so like they're like staying with a friend trying to like figure out like, oh shit, what do I do next, right? When they get tracked down by a different like part of the like Razane government, which is their armory, and they're like, we're hiring artists, and then they basically get fucking abducted because they need artists, because the way that their automata work is that they're basically it's really cool. It's like magic, but also like sci-fi. So like the way that their automata work is that they have like a mask on that is painted with like special pigments, and it's kind of like there's like different like glyphs that they put onto the masks to program them for different things. And so they need artists to paint the masks. But basically we find out that Jebi was kind of like set up, and that they didn't like fail their exam because they were bad. They failed it because they were good, and Armory decided that they wanted them for themselves. So they got like set up, and then they have to live in less like fucking like government compound. They're like being guarded by a duelist who's named Vey, who will like literally like her job is to like kill them if they try to escape, right? And the job that they're given is that they need to reprogram an automaton, a secret one that allegedly had killed a bunch of people, right? And this automata happens to be a little bit different than all the like little soldier automata that they're used to seeing, because it's a fucking dragon, and they built it to destroy tanks.
It's a little different.
A little different. It's literally a dragon, right? And they're like, oh yeah, and also it killed a bunch of people. There was a whole ass massacre. And oh yeah, and also as soon as Jebi gets their like guard Vey, they're like, oh no, she's hot. So that's pretty fucking great. We love a bodyguard trope, even if it is a prisoner bodyguard.
Oh no, I'm attracted to my hot guard damsel swoon.
So like, spoiler, The dragon didn't actually kill anyone. The reason why it needs to be programmed is because it doesn't destroy anything. And the massacre was done by the people who were there, right? But basically, the person who originally designed the automata was a rebel who sabotaged it. Said something different, basically, and it made the dragon so that it's programmed to seek peaceful solutions. So it's literally a pacifist. Jebi is also kind of a pacifist, and this whole story is them getting sucked into having to make difficult decisions and dealing with war and stuff like that. And there's a lot of everything in this book ranges from really heavy and scary to the good stuff is always bittersweet, down to the ending. The ending made me cry so much. But 5 stars, honestly. A very enriching read. Made me wish I knew more about world history. Well, I finished reading Legends and Lattes last night. I was shocked that I liked this one too. Again, another slow read. Even slower than the other one. I read some of the 1-star reviews on this one because I was curious. I'm shocked that this book is as popular as it is. And I think it's popular because people like the premise of it or the idea of it. And one of the 1-star reviews for this book is mentioned that it's like reading a manual, and I was like, that is exactly it, and that is actually why I like it. Because this book is a great mental illness read. It's so slow, and you just know that everything's just gonna be okay, and it's just walking you through step by step how Viv, who is the main character, she's an orc, how she builds up a new life for herself as the owner of a coffee shop. She used to be a adventurer, kind of, into a crew or whatever, doing adventurer stuff with her big sword and shit, and then she's like, nah, that's not me anymore. It's just about Viv building her coffee shop, and I feel like listening to it as an audiobook really added to it too. It's read by the author, and he gives the characters different voices, and it reminds me of what it's like to watch a D&D stream. You know how everyone does the same voice for dwarfs and stuff like that? It's very much in line with that, but it's very the feeling that everything is going to be okay is very pervasive. It's just soaked into that book. It's a very good I'm just there, I'm just in the moment, okay? But very boring, but also 5 stars. My notes says 10 out of 10 mental illness read. Actually, I like it for the same reason that I like the Drizzt books, which I would never recommend to another person. And it's purely coincidence that they're... Actually, maybe it's not. They're both D&D books. So maybe it's not coincidence. But I just like it. I just like watching characters do things. It's very not stressful, and it doesn't make me feel any kind of strong emotion. But you know how I was making my TBR? And I was like, I feel like this has a fantasy horror theme, but I don't know if Full Metal Panic fits that theme. It might just ruin it. I was wrong. For one, I think it is technically a sci-fi series because it has mech in it. But also, too, this thing is the most fucking horrifying thing I've ever read. It has aged so fucking poorly. Within the first chapter, the main guy walks in on the main girl changing twice. And I finally understand that ProZD skit that's Sosuke Bosuke, you pervert. Because literally his name is Sosuke. These characters are fucking psychos, too. It has aged so fucking much. It made me think about how the life cycle of anime has gone, where it starts off with artsy stuff, and then it becomes increasingly more derivative until we hit peak cringe, and then there's this trend of being like increasingly more artsy and less like that, and then it becomes mainstream, you know? I don't know, I was thinking about that a lot. But not enough stuff happens in the main volume. I feel like the author couldn't decide what he wanted the book to be about. It's just high school shit, but then also they're like soldiers, but like also like he's like her bodyguard, but also he's like a sociopath. I don't fucking know. He has a gun. He shoots someone. Like, why? The last chapter you find out it's a mecha. Oh god. Oh yeah, so the mechs are called arm slaves, and they abbreviate it as AS, and I kept reading it as ass, and I was like, yeah, you pilot an ass. And I think the only other book I have to talk about right now is The Letting Go. So I'm halfway through this book, and I don't think I like it. But also, I want to know how it ends, because it's really annoying. Like, I know I mentioned, like, the other two books that I was talking about, how they're really slow, but I like them, and that I think that I like slow books. The Letting Go is annoying. It's annoying. I'm like, just tell me. Just fucking tell me. Because, like, the entire premise of this book
tells me to not let go. Me wants to like to.
Our main character, Emily, she's at boarding school, right? Her parents have died. They were murdered. She's at this boarding school, and she's kind of crazy. She's obsessed with Emily Dickens way too much. I'm fucking sick of hearing about Emily Dickens from her. She will not shut up about Emily Dickens. She keeps talking about how there's rules and how she can't like talk to other people. She's making it sound like she's responsible for her parents' death, but we don't know if she's crazy yet or if it's something supernatural. I don't know. I'm leaning towards crazy. But she's at this boarding school, and then a stranger dies near the boarding school, and she thinks it's her fault because she also thinks like her parents getting murdered was her fault. But we don't know how they were murdered. We don't know how her parents were murdered. We don't know why she thinks it's her fault. And I'm literally halfway through the book, and we know nothing. We know nothing. This other girl named Emily shows up. They call her M to distinguish between Emily and M. And she's super weird, and she's obsessed with Emily, and she just wants to be friends with her. But I don't think she's real. I think Emily made her up. I think she's an imaginary friend, maybe a hallucination, maybe a lie. I don't know. Or she might be a real person, because now there's like starting to be like weird sexual tension between them. I don't know where this is going. I don't know. My notes just say I don't give a fuck about Emily Dickinson. But yeah, wait, I don't know. Obviously, I'm gonna keep reading it because I want to fucking find out what the hell this is about. You're not gonna know this book. It was really popular though a year ago. But there's this book called Bunny by Mona Awad, and it became really popular because it's weird. And I feel like this book is Bunny's little sister, nerdy little sister. She won't shut up about Emily Dickinson and like books and shit. But also she kind of crazy, which I actually talked about Bunny a little bit in like one of my really old videos. And I'm like 10% into The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. I stopped reading that because I was listening to the audiobook. I got like all these other ones. So like I'm actually listening to...
Listen, I just want people to think I'm a well-read middle schooler.
It's okay, I'll just tell you about books and you can pretend that you read them. But that's it. A Gathering of Shadows, that's what it's called. I just started listening to that one, and then I got another one that I need to listen to. Oh, Hellbent. I fucking got I was able to borrow Hellbent finally, which I'm really excited about. So I'm gonna listen to that before I fucking go back to Wheel of Time. Or what else do I have to read? Fuck, I have to read the entirety of Priory of the Orange Tree. I'm fucked.
Wait, you started book 2.
I started it today. I'm only like 15 minutes into the audiobook.
I was waiting for you.
Get it. I started it today. I'm only 15 minutes in. I am a little bit disappointed The second audiobook has a different narrator. I don't know if she reads it all the way through. It sounds like there's 2 narrators for the book. Like I said, I'm only 15 minutes in. But the voice she gives for Lila it's not as like British, you know? Like she sounds too fancy. And I'm like, you know, it's a different British accent.
Yeah, it's the people who do the Stormlight Archive series.
Oh, I didn't know. Dude, that's another series that I need to fucking read eventually.
Thank you for watching our video. If you've made it this far, comment with yellow hearts and Oshi marks. Mode and I have been working really hard lately to try new things with our YouTube channel and Twitch stream, so if you've made it this far, your support means a lot to us. We stream 4 days a week on Twitch and post daily to YouTube, so subscribe and join our Discord community for more updates.